These are my personal opinions. Always seek a professional when you're making choices about your mental health and well-being. Well, every now and then I get questions about family, and they're never questions that talk about how well the family treats the person who's writing. It's usually something like, the family is treating me this way, and it's not a good way. The family is putting me down, making me feel bad for not having the job they want me to have or the partner they want me to have. So it makes sense that they would want guidance or direction on how to deal with family like that. And those are challenging because family doesn't usually go away. They're just there all the time. And sometimes we can get away. Like I moved 1,000 miles away from the people that bothered me, but that also meant moving far away from the people I loved. But I didn't want to be around the people that bothered me, which is mostly one person. And I go back and visit, and that person is still there. I don't visit that person, but everyone else I visit, and I love everyone else. And now I'm not worried about running into that person because I have changed. And when you change, family shows up differently in your life. And if they don't show up differently, then you show up differently in their lives so that they don't bother you as much. They still probably will bother you if they're a problem. But when you're able to handle and deal with family that used to bother you and be okay if they don't change who they are, your life changes. I decided just a few years ago that there were people in my life that I'm not going to let bother me anymore, and just accept who they are. Just accept who they are and know they'll never change. I let go of hope. I let go of wishing that they would change. I let go of the idea that they would become aware of their own toxic behavior and decide to act differently. I let all of that go. And when you let all that go, you let go of a lot of burden. You're burdened by your own hope that someone will get it and stop being who they are. I don't like that burden. In fact, I've chosen to accept people for who they are forever. That is that person. That's who they'll be forever. So either I have to adapt if I want to get along with them, or avoid if I don't. If I just want to avoid being around them and have a life without them, great, I can do that. I've done that in the past. But now I believe in accepting who someone is forever, meaning they'll never change. Because when you do that, there's no more fighting. There's no more conflict inside of you. That's who they are. They're never going to change. So that leaves my brain free for thinking about other things. I don't have to constantly think, why do they do that? Why are they doing that? Why are they so mean? Or why are they so hurtful? I don't have to go there anymore. I just accepted that's who they are. When you accept somebody for who they are, you don't have any internal conflict anymore. You might still not like being around them or dealing with them, but the internal conflict of why can't they stop doing what they do? Why do they have to be so mean? Or why do they have to be so toxic? None of that exists because you move on. Okay, that's who they are. They are toxic. I don't have to know why. I just move forward and just know who they are. It's just like, I know the sun is in the sky. Why is it in the sky? If I sit here thinking, why is it in the sky? Unless I know a lot of astronomy and stuff like that. But if I sit here and think about that, I don't know the answers, and I could look them up and try to figure it out, but why bother? It's there. I know it's there. It'll be there tomorrow. And if it's not there tomorrow, then I won't be here. So I won't be thinking about it. But if you have somebody in your life that is like the sun and shows up every day, then maybe it's just easier to say that's who they are and they'll always be around, or they'll always be the way they are. And I can choose to adapt to that. I can choose to adjust to that. I can choose to resist it. I can choose to avoid it, or whatever comes to your mind. But I don't have to continue wasting any brain energy on it. I don't have to continue thinking about it, why they are who they are. They just are. Once you accept somebody for who they are, then you can move on with your life and choose to be who you want to be around them. And I'm not saying that you have to accept bad behavior. You still have boundaries. And when you still have boundaries, that means if somebody crosses your boundaries, there's a consequence. And if there's no consequence and you just want to avoid them, then you try to do your best to avoid them. So, I mean, there's no quick and easy answer for dealing with a toxic person, because sometimes they're in your life and you can't get them out. And sometimes you can get them out, and sometimes you can walk away and never see them again. For the longest time, I had a fear of confrontation. Most of my life, I had a fear of confrontation. So I would do my best to avoid, and also do my best to not cause any problems. Don't rock the boat. So I became the ultimate people pleaser. And throughout my life, that's who I was. So toxic people that showed up in my life, I would have my boundaries violated and I really wouldn't do anything about it. I would just try to keep the peace. And when I did that, nothing changed. Those people were still around and they still violated my boundaries, and I did everything I could to avoid them. About just over a decade ago, that stopped. I didn't allow that anymore. Meaning I didn't allow myself not to confront. And not like I'm being a jerk about it. I didn't allow myself to avoid. I told myself, why don't you just face the confrontation, deal with it right now so it goes away? Doesn't mean it will always go away, but I faced some confrontations. I decided to be confrontational and honor myself in those moments. And those problems did go away. They're gone now, and I don't have to deal with them. But I used to deal with them all my life. And this is what we do sometimes, is that we try to avoid the confrontation. And when we do that, it continues the problem. Sometimes it continues the problem. And when we have that problem in our life and we want to remove it or get rid of it, we might have to be confrontational. Not with everyone, not with the violent people, but we might have to confront in a way that makes someone not like us. And when you do that, you find out who does like us. I mean, who likes you? You'll find out who likes you when you say, hey, could you please not act that way? And if they say, I can act any way I want, they don't like you. I'm sorry to say that they show their colors. When you tell someone of a boundary and they choose not to honor that boundary, they don't like you. They like themselves. They want to do whatever they want to do, regardless of how you feel about it. So why do you even try? If somebody is like that to you, you've presented a boundary and they violate it, why try? They've already shown that they're not going to honor that boundary. And if you have people in your life that don't honor your boundaries, then you know what to expect from them. You know what to expect. They will be that way from this point on because they've already shown that they don't like you. Is that true? Do they not like you? Are they just dealing with their own issues and they don't know how to honor you? I mean, there are probably complexities to their psychology, their psyche, that they'll have to figure out, but we don't have to. We don't have to sit around and figure out why they don't like us or why they don't honor our boundaries and claim to like us. We don't have to figure that out. You don't have to ask yourself why the sun is in space every day. I was going to say in the sky, but really it's way out there. But we don't have to ask those questions that we don't have to spend the energy thinking about. It's just who they are. Okay, they don't like me. I don't know why. Gonna move on. Okay, great. Can't get away from everyone though. We know that. This episode's inspired by somebody who wrote to me and said, my fiance's family is not emotional like mine. And many times I get upset over comments that my future brother-in-law makes. He told me that I'm a crybaby. And every time I hear something similar to this now, I feel like I should just disappear because I feel like I have no value. How do I make boundaries for myself in talking with his brother? I've tried talking to him before and he apologized, but he continually does this. Now my fiance is starting to do this as well. My fiance is more receptive, but it makes me feel like I can't share emotions with them ever again unless I have positive emotions. This seems wrong. Thank you for sharing that. Sorry you're dealing with it. And I don't know if it's going to be a good answer, but I have an answer. I don't know if it's going to be a good answer because it may make you question your relationship. But I want to give you my initial thought on this because you need to question these things, because if you're going to get married, that's going to be probably the rest of your life together. And it is a good thing to think about. It is an important thing to think about, which is asking yourself the question, do I want it to be this way for the rest of my life with this person? That's the question. And the reason for the question, because I know people are already thinking, well, why don't you just talk to your fiance and tell him that's not cool and let's figure this out because I don't want to feel this way. Absolutely. That's where I'm going to go with this. But I want you to have that question in mind as I say the following. You're either marrying your fiance or you're marrying your fiance and his family. If you're marrying your fiance, he will want to make you feel loved and protected and safe from harm. A fiance, a husband, a spouse wants to make you feel safe and happy and protected and loved. That's their primary job as far as I'm concerned. When you make someone feel happy and warm and protected and supported and loved, that's how you love someone. That's how you love someone, is that you make them feel all those things. You make them feel happy. You make them feel protected. And I know there are people listening that will say, you can't make anyone feel anything. Yes, you can. I disagree with that sentiment. Yes, you can. There are things that you can do to make people feel good. Let's practice that in relationships. This is what I'm going to do to help my partner feel good. I love trying to make Asha feel good. I love making my wife feel good. And because she feels good with me, she's going to do the same thing with me. She's going to try to make me feel good too. That's what we do for each other. That's how we love each other. Again, this is my perception. And I know if you're listening for the first time and you think you can't make anyone feel anything, it's just not true. I don't believe it. You can make people feel certain things. Now, we do have a choice on how to react and respond. Absolutely. But the bottom line is we can do our best to make someone feel comfortable. And so answering this person, I'm saying you're either marrying your fiance or you're marrying your fiance and his family. If you're marrying your fiance, I already said, he will want to make you feel loved and protected and safe from harm. If you're marrying your fiance and his family, you don't have a relationship with just your spouse, your husband. You don't have a relationship with just one person. You have a relationship with all of them. That needs to be distinguished. That needs to be figured out before you get married. Am I marrying you, the person who's supposed to love me and protect me and make me feel safe and warm and comfortable? Or am I marrying you, who is easily influenced by other people in your life, friends, family, or whatever? If you are easily influenced by other people and you know it is harmful to me, and that could just mean you feel sad, you feel disrespected, you feel devalued, that's harm. And if it's harmful to me and you are not stopping it, then I don't feel protected. I don't feel safe. I don't feel loved. I feel left out to fend for myself. I have fond memories of not too long ago when I tried Prolon for the first time. I thought, I'm never going to be able to get through this 5-day program. But Prolon kept me nourished with their snacks, soups, and beverages designed to keep my body in a fasting state. By day 5, I was celebrating because I actually got through it without ever feeling deprived. My taste buds even expanded to try new foods I never thought I'd like. It was an amazing experience, and these days a lot of people are learning about the benefits of fasting, like weight loss and mental performance and gut health. But they worry about the whole not eating part. Well, that's exactly why Prolon was created, a revolutionary plant-based nutrition program that nourishes while making your cells believe they're fasting. Prolon helps maintain healthy blood sugar, support cardiovascular health, and reduce abdominal fat. But it isn't a diet. Prolon is science-based on Nobel Prize-winning discoveries. It's unlike anything you've experienced. And right now, Prolon is offering the Overwhelmed Brain listeners 15% off their 5-day program. Go to prolonlife.com/brain. That's PROLON life.com/brain for this special offer. prolonlife.com/brain. And we're talking about family today. Speaking of them, I just want to take a moment to thank someone that I recently reunited with. Someone I never thought I'd have a relationship with recently came back into my life and gave both of us something we've been missing. I'm so grateful we reconnected, and I love this person very much. And this month is all about gratitude. And along with that person that I reconnected with, there's another person that we don't get to thank enough: ourselves. It's sometimes hard to remind ourselves that we are trying our best to make sense of everything, and in this crazy world, that isn't easy. Therapy can really help empower you to be the best version of yourself by learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. If you're thinking of starting therapy to work on personal growth, give our sponsor a try. It's BetterHelp's online therapy. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with one of their licensed therapists. You can switch providers at any time with no additional charge. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/brain today, and you'll get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/brain. This is why it's important to know if you're marrying a person or you're marrying a person and their family. When you're marrying the person and their family, then the person you're marrying isn't your spouse. They all are, because they're heavily influenced. That your spouse would be or will be heavily influenced by them. And somebody who is heavily influenced in a way that causes harm to you puts you in a position for the rest of your marriage where you feel like you are alone on an island with no help. Marriage is not an island. Well, if it is, it's with 2 people at least. And if it's more people, it should be your immediate family. It should be your kids. It should be people that you love that have a positive influence in your life. I know that if my future brother-in-law, actually my current, if I were getting married to Asha, but I already am, I met her brother. I know her brother well. He welcomed me into the family almost right away. He said he loved me, and I was just touched. And that's how it should be. I never hear him put me down. I never feel like that I am an outsider. I feel like I am his sister's husband, and I am now his brother. That's what it should feel like. And I feel the same way toward him. I love that guy, and that's how it should be. If there was anything like this person described going on, if her brother was putting me down, I would expect her, and I think she would do this, I would expect her to say, "Hey, that's my husband. What are you saying? Why are you putting him down? I love my husband. Why are you talking like this?" I know that I would do that. If my sister or my brother put her down and she came to me and she said, "Your brother said something that made me feel really bad," I would say, "What do you mean? What's going on?" That would be my first reaction. What happened? And if she said, "He said XYZ, and I feel like he doesn't even care about me," I would talk to my brother. I would say, "What did you say to her? She sounds like she's dejected." I'd give my brother an opportunity to explain. I wouldn't go up and say, "Hey, you jerk, leave her alone." I would say, what did you say? What happened? I want to hear both sides. But in the end, I'm going to take my wife's side. Meaning, if she feels unsafe around my brother, then I need to, as the person who's directly involved with my brother, I need to say, look, you make my wife feel unsafe. Please don't do that again, or please don't say that again. It probably wouldn't go that easy, but that is my stance. My wife is my life. Your spouse is the person that you are supposed to protect, and you want them to feel safe and comfortable and loved. You want them to feel supported. This is why I ask that all-important question, are you marrying the person, or are you marrying the person and their family? When you marry their family and their family makes you feel bad, or has a very negative influence on your marriage, or is toxic in any way, then that's what you're inviting into your life. You're bringing that into your life for the rest of your marriage. So you have to be very careful how you go forth with that. Now, the person who wrote, she may actually be able to tell her husband, look, your brother does this to me and I really don't appreciate it. It really hurts my feelings. It really makes me feel sad. A good guy is going to say, I don't want you to feel sad. Let's fix this. Let's work on this. Let's take care of this. I will talk to him. Or let's all get together and have this conversation, or however it goes. But I don't want you to feel that way because I love you and I want you to be happy. You know what happens when you have an unhappy spouse? You're unhappy too. It's just the crux of it right there. If my wife, Asha, was unhappy, I guarantee you I would not be happy. I would not be happy, and I would not enjoy our relationship because she was unhappy. So what am I going to do? I'm going to make sure I do everything I can that makes her feel happy. I'm not going to succeed all the time, maybe half the time. I'm going to try, but we have to make ourselves happy too. I mean, we're not here to be the source of someone's happiness. We're just here to add to their lives. That's what I want to do. I want to add to her life so that every time she thinks of me, she has a positive thought. That won't be the case all the time either. But I'm doing my best, and she's doing her best. And every time I think of her, I do have a positive thought. Something fills me. Something is warm inside of me. It's not, oh, I don't want to bring that up because it always turns into a fight. I don't want that feeling. And I know some people listening now get that feeling. And that needs to be worked on. That's something we need to have a conversation on if you're in a relationship with somebody where you can't have a positive thought when you think about them, or it's not the first thought that comes to your mind. That might need to be a conversation. That might be a hard conversation. But in this case, especially when family is involved with making you unhappy or making someone you care about unhappy, and you are the primary person in their life, or they're the primary person in your life, I believe in a pecking order. You are the first person in my life, and you are the person that I'm going to spend every day with for the rest of my life. So why would I want you to be unhappy? Why would I want family to treat you like that? I don't. That's how I see this, is that we have to prioritize the most important people in our life. Even though, in this case, family might be important to you, but are they the people that, let me be frank, are they the people that you sleep with at night? I would imagine that most people, if not all people listening, don't make their family the people they sleep with at night, unless it's their spouse, and the spouse becomes family and all that. But it's a new family, your family. It's a romantic relationship that involves you and another person, and maybe kids, and you have a special relationship with someone that becomes a sacred place that nobody should be an interference in. That's a special place that needs to be protected. It needs to be honored. That's how I see it. So to the person who wrote, you asked, how do I make boundaries for myself? I think your boundary has to start with your partner. Go to your partner and say, I feel this way when your brother says this. And she also said that her partner was starting it too. I feel this way when you do this. Will you please not do it anymore? It really is a simple request. And someone who loves you will honor it. Someone who cares about you will not want you to be unhappy. And they will say, of course, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that hurt. Or maybe they did know and they thought they were just joking around. Maybe they're immature, but they need to learn. So you teach them, this is how I would like to be treated. And when you tell someone how you would like to be treated, the people who care about you will be more than happy to do so because they want to see you happy. They love you. They want to see you happy. They want to support that happiness. They want to support what makes you happy, and they want you to feel comfortable. That's my take. That's how I see it. I do hope this helps. Thank you to the person who wrote, and thank you for listening to another episode of The Overwhelmed Brain. I want to thank the patrons that give to this show. I am very grateful for your donations and for your offerings. It warms my heart. Thank you so much. If you value the show and you want to give back, head over to moretob.com and you'll find options to do that over there. Thank you again, patrons. I'm very grateful. And for our show on how to deal with difficult relationships, how to navigate through them, listen to my other podcast called Love and Abuse over at loveandabuse.com. And if you know you're the difficult one in the relationship and you want to stop doing that, stop the behaviors, join the program that is helping a lot of people heal over at healedbeing.com. And with that, always remember to keep your mind open because that's how you make the best decisions. And be firm in those decisions and actions so that you can create the life you want. Always take steps to grow and evolve. You are powerful beyond measure. And above all, and this is something I absolutely know to be true about you, you are amazing.